How you guys doing? Welcome to Indoor Hydroponics. I'm John, your indoor hydroponic test dummy. Today is November 19, 2014, and this is episode 7 or 8 or something like that for this year's indoor grow, so welcome inside my grow room. Quick recap. Got 7 tomato plants. These are the last 3 that are about to get potted out. I've got a total of 6 peppers in here. 4 started from seed, 2 are being overwintered. Okay, so they grew up in my summer landscaping with bell pepper series, brought them inside, they're doing fantastic. I'll do a separate video on it. However, I want to talk about 2 very important things this year, okay? Growing in these fabric pots this year, I chose to do this for a couple of reasons. Just as a quick recap, what I'm doing is I'm saving energy by not running deep water cultures. I don't have to run pumps or anything like that. Second thing is water conservation, man. You know, when I had 8 5-gallon deep water cultures running in this room last year, if I did a weekly change on that, what's 8 times 5? That's like 40 gallons a week. That's 160 gallons a month. That's a lot of water, guys. And a lot of it is waste. It really is. So I chose to go this route as a way to save on water as well. And believe me, there's an added benefit with going with these mesh bags. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But first, I want to talk about the potting media that I'm using. I also want to talk about the nutrients that I'm going to be using to grow all my indoor vegetables this year. So let's take a peek at the 2 potting medias that I'm using. And I think they're the best out there on the market. Alright guys, so I'm going to be using 2 forms of potting media this year, alright? And when you go to your local big box store or your local head hydroponic shop, whatever you want to call it, look at the different types of potting media, look at the ingredients inside of it, and then, you know, are you getting enough value for your dollar, okay? Now, the stuff I use is not the cheapest stuff in the world. We're talking $8, $9 a bag. To fill all the pots in this room, I needed 5 bags total, alright? So, yeah, it's about a $40 to $50 investment into this, alright? But if I'm going to spend the money and I'm going to grow out in here, I want to put my plants in the best stuff. And in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, and I'm not affiliated with this company, though, if they want to send me free stuff, give me a call. Fox Farm, Ocean Forest, lots of indoor growers use it, man. And I tell you what, this stuff is amended with a lot of different material, and I really like it. In fact, there's enough food in this to get you by through the first 4 to 6 weeks of growth, regardless of whatever it is that you're growing, okay? You really technically don't even have to add any type of nutrient to it. You just have to water, alright? Now, of course, I'm going to be adding nutrient, and I'll get to that later. But what is in this ocean forest stuff, okay? So the ingredients in this are composted forest humus, peat moss, obviously, alright? Pacific Northwest sea-going fish emulsion, crab meal, shrimp meal, earthworm castings, perlite, bat guano. Guano is a cute word for you-know-what. Granite dust. It's got rock dust in it. I like that. Norwegian kelp meal and oyster shell. So it's got lots of stuff from the sea in this bag, and that's very good amendments. The plants love that stuff, okay? So lots of organic amendments in here, lots of nutrition for the plant. Love it. But this isn't the only thing that I use. I use another product and I mix them both 50-50. Next up on the list, my good friends at Fox Farms again, and it's their Happy Frog stuff. I use this stuff to start all my seedlings in my bell peppers series video thing, and it was just tremendous. And I got to tell you something, this is some really, really good stuff. Now, it doesn't have all the organic amendments that the ocean forest has in it, but the reason I use this and the reason I mix them 50-50 is because this has your beneficial mycorrhiza in it, okay? Mycorrhiza is that fungus, attaches itself to the root systems, and it helps the plant with nutrient uptake, okay? So if you want to grow bigger, better vegetables, you probably want to have this stuff in your soil or at least in and around near the plant, okay? And this stuff has 16 different versions of mycorrhiza in it. 5-gallon bucket, guys. I'm going to be using 2 nutrients this year to feed my plants, alright? Why am I using this aeration? 1, I have the technology. 2, it's mixing up my nutrients. And 3, it's also off-gassing it. I'm using tap water here, tap water that has fluoride and fluoride in it, okay? And I want to off-gas this and get that chlorine and fluoride and that type of stuff off-gassed and out of there. Because if there's any microbiological activity going on in these grow bags, I don't want the water that I'm using to feed these plants to kill it. Alright? Now, some would say by adding a hydroponic nutrient that it will effectively kill off your microbiological activity anyway. I have no proof of knowing that. However, I don't want the water to do it. Alright? So, what am I using? I'm going to go with Fox Farm Grow Big. Alright? This is their veg stuff. 644 has some of the amendments that it has in their potting medias, and by that I mean it's got kelp and earthworm castings. It's also obviously got your nitrogen, potash, phosphorus, that type of stuff. So this seems to be a good product. I'm going to roll with that this year in here. Something really, really important I think to note out too is how to use this stuff. Man, when plants are at this stage, don't feed them at full strength. They can't take it up. Alright? I'm going to be feeding at about 1/4 of the rate that it says for regular feeding. So that's what I've been doing now. When these plants reach about halfway maturity, I'll kick it up to about half strength. And then once they get close to maturity, that's when you can kick on the nutrients, okay guys? I mean, they don't need it up front. A, it's a waste. B, they can't take it up. And C, all those leftover chemical salts that they don't take up are left over in the potting media, and that's like toxic for the plant, okay? Give them what they need, but don't overfeed them. Remember, less is more when it comes to hydroponic nutrient. Secondly, and very, very, very importantly, if you're going to grow a fruiting vegetable, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, you've got to add, smooth, huh? CalMag. Okay, it's got to have calcium, it's got to have magnesium, and it's got to have it in the right format in order to take it up. If you don't use this, you may end up with blossom end rot. Blossom end rot is that mushy end of the fruit, and it's pretty much inedible, and it sucks, alright? And you don't want to do that. You don't want to spend all this effort, or at least I don't want to spend all this effort and not have anything to eat, right? CalMag, very important. Again, I use a diluted version of this based on the plant size, right? I don't want any of this leftover residue inside the grow bag. I want to feed the plants what they need and only what they need. Now, let's talk one more thing about this added benefit of growing with these grow bags. Alright guys, I want to talk about this last added benefit that I found with these mesh bags. And this is something that I didn't take into account when I originally started using these earlier on. Now I've got about 8 bags going in here right now, and what I've noticed is they're extremely water efficient. What do I mean by that? Well, last year I grew in deep water culture, okay guys? And in deep water culture I had 8 5-gallon buckets running in here, and I would religiously change those buckets out every week and add new nutrients. Now guys, that's 40 gallons of water a week, 160 gallons of water a month, and that doesn't include the amount of water that I use to top off. Now these mesh bags here, you water just enough until the water seeps out the bottom and into the saucer and collects in the saucer, okay? Now if you walk out and come back about an hour later, you know what happens? Because these fabric pots are breathable, the water wicks back up into it. Incredible water retention, incredible wicking effect, and an incredible way to conserve water. This is a fantastic, whoever came up with this fabric bag technology, that's a fantastic idea, and I did not take that into account when I was originally doing this. This is fantastic. I'm going to save a ton on water this year, and a whole lot less work. All I got to do is come down here, feed them, water them, walk away, let the lights do the rest. So thanks for stopping by, guys. I just wanted to add that in there for those of you that have not tried these mesh bags. Really cool. So come back and check me out in a couple of weeks. We'll take a peek at the growth of everything that's going on in here, and I sure appreciate you watching. Take care, guys. Bye.